a very interesting facts, ASMR, and let's discover some historical facts and less known facts about Celtic tribes and Celtic nations. So I divided this ASMR session into two main parts, or two chapters. Celtic tribes, which I will start, and second part, the Celtic nations. Each will contain facts and less known facts about. Well, let's start. Just a moment to see what do I have this thing. First, the Celts were a diverse group of ancient Indo-European people who inhabited much of Europe during Iron Age, through the Roman Age or Roman period and beyond. So they were known for their distinctive culture, the Celtic culture, art and language. Also they were well known also for warfare. Like I said, first we're gonna start with Celtic tribes. They were diverse and often organized in smaller groups. Each group of Celts had its own leadership and hierarchy. And the most prominent one, let's discover them, because the most prominent one were the Gauls. Well, the Gauls, perhaps, they were the most famous Celtic group, inhabiting the region that it's now in France, Belgium and Luxembourg. Gauls. And parts of Switzerland and Italy and Germany, but that they were famously conquered by Julius Caesar during the Gallic War in 1st century BCE. So probably the most known, the most famous were the Gauls. There were 6 tribes. So the first was the Gauls, the second, the Britons. Well, Britons were Celtic tribes inhabiting the island of Great Britain before the Roman conquest of Britain. That was before the 1st century BCE. And of course, they were also divided in small numerous tribes, including Trinovantes and Brigantes. The next Celtic tribes were the Gaels. The Gaels were Celtic tribes who settled in Ireland, Scotland and Isle of Man. This was a very small island between England and Ireland. Good. Notable Gaelic tribes include Scotty, Picts, Uí Néill, and Connachta. The next, the fourth one, Goidelic Celts or Goidelic Celts. These were another group of Celtic tribes, primarily located in the Isle of Man or Isle of Man. Isle of Man. They spoke Goidelic language, which evolved through time in Irish Gaelic and Manx Gaelic language. Gaelic language. Wow, this is so interesting, right? Good. The fifth were Brittonic Celts. Well, the Brittonic Celts were tribes of Celts that inhabited in the area of Wales in the south. Wales, Cornwall, and parts of southern Scotland and England. The difference is that these tribes spoke Brittonic languages, which through time evolved in modern Welsh, Cornish, and Breton. And the sixth tribe, which is also important, the Galatians or Galatians, were another group or tribes of Celtics or Celtics who migrated in central Anatolia, modern-day Turkey, in the 3rd century BCE. So, even there they were ancestors from Celtic tribe, Celtic nation. They were known for their interaction with Hellenistic kingdoms, and they were also mentioned in the Bible in the New Testament. Of course, what I enumerated here, there are only a few examples of Celtic tribes or the most important branches of Celtic tribes which spread across the Europe during ancient times. That was between Iron Age and Roman conquer or first century BC. Good. Well, let's talk about now. Let's switch to the less known facts about Celtic or Celtic tribes. I'm sorry, but I'm very used to pronounce Celtic instead of Celtic, because in Eastern Europe we are pronouncing Celts, not Celts, but this is only a matter of dialect. So, okay. And here we have on the last known facts, let's see. Diverse ethnic groups. Well, Celtic tribes were not a single homogeneous group of people, but rather a collection of diverse ethnicities and cultures. Next lesson fact is Latini culture, Tini culture. Many Celtic tribes were influenced by the Tini culture, characterized by art, sophisticated jewelry, and metalwork, and of course burial practices. This culture spread across and provided perfect identity and strong identity through time of the Celtic ancestors. And Tini culture spread across Europe during the late Iron Age. Okay. Tribal structure. Celtic tribes typically had a hierarchical social structure led by kings and chieftains with various druids. Druids were just spiritual leaders. Druids were, if I'm not mistaken, spiritual leaders. Also, they include in the group craftsmen, making it also a bulk of population. Celtic tribes. So this were the tribal structure, hierarchical kings and chieftains, which were the leaders, warriors, druids, which were the elders or spiritual leaders, and the craftsmen. Good. Next. Warfare. Celtic tribes were known for their martial powers. Martial prowess, and often engaged in warfare, both among themselves. They were skilled horsemen and used chariots in the battle. So, this is a particular thing between the conflicts between the various Celtic tribes. They fought against each other, but also they made alliances against external foes or enemies. Well, foes and enemies, the same thing. Okay, we cannot pass that because now it's about Celtic arts. Celtic tribes were known for their artwork, intricate designs, and especially metalwork, stone carvings, and pottery. What is particularly an identity for Celtic tribes is the geometric figures and patterns used in various crafted objects, animals and mythical creatures also. So, Druids. Druids, like I said, spiritual leaders played a very important role in Celtic civilization. They were religious leaders, elders, scholars, and advisors to the kings. They presided over religious ceremonies and acted as judges, spreading oral traditions and knowledge. Oral tradition and knowledge. Well, everything was fine until the Romans came, and here is the fact about the Roman conquest. Of course, they were a problem because the Roman Empire expansion into the Celtic territories led to conflicts between Celtic tribes and Roman legions. Julius Caesar's conquests of Gaul and subsequent Roman campaigns in Britain and Gallia are notable examples of this. Now, the Galician migration. In the 3rd century BCE, a group of Celtic tribes known as Galicians, Galatians, or Galatians migrated to the central Anatolia, which is now in Turkey, and established the kingdom of Galatians. And they were known for their fierce fighting skills. And also they established trade routes with other kingdoms nearby, which one of the most important was the Hellenistic kingdom. Right. The Celtic languages were part of Indo-European language family, but they were spoken differently by various Celtic tribes. So the Celtic tribes did not develop a writing system like Romans and Greeks. They did use their own alphabet known as Ogham, primarily for inscriptions on monuments and stones. And one of the most important facts about Celtic tribes is that they were nomad. Migrations underwent periods of migrations and expansion. And because they moved around Europe, they influenced neighboring cultures. The spread of Celtic culture across Europe has a lasting impact throughout history. The decline of Celtic tribes. The decline of Celtic tribes began with expansion, like I said, with the Roman Empire. But later it was accelerated by the arrival of the Germanic tribes and the spread of Christianity. However, elements of Celtic culture persisted, especially in the regions known today as Ireland, Scotland, Wales, Britannia, Galicia, where the Celtic languages and traditions are still alive today. And now we have reached the second part of this video, which is dedicated to the Celtic nations. Well, the Celtic nations refers typically to regions of Europe where Celtic languages and cultures have historically been prevalent. And these nations include first Ireland or Eire. Ireland. The Republic of Ireland is perhaps the most well known for Celtic nation. Irish Gaelic is one of the Celtic languages spoken here alongside with English. The second one, it's Scotland, Alba. Scotland is another prominent Celtic nation. Scottish Gaelic is spoken in some regions, particularly in the Highlands and Western Isles, of course alongside with English. The next, Wales, Cymru, Wales. Wales, it's known for its strong heritage in Celtic traditions and identity, of course. The Welsh language, known as Cymraeg, is spoken by a significant portion of population alongside English. The next is Cornwall or Cernow, Cornwall. Well, Cornwall, located in southwest England, has a distinct Celtic language, the Cornish language, though now extinct as community language. It has undergone revitalizations and some efforts in revitalizations in the recent years. The next Celtic nation is Brittany. Brits. Brittany is a region in northwest France with strong Celtic roots. Breton, a Celtic language, or Breton, a Celtic language is close related to Welsh and Cornish. But it's spoken on a restricted and by a minority of population alongside French. Brittany in France. Isle of Man, Ellen Vannin. It's situated in the Irish Sea between Ireland and Great Britain. The island of Man has its own Celtic language. Monks Gaelic, which experienced some revivals during time. Well, these Celtic nations are a common heritage and to the Celtic languages and traditions and cultural practices. Additionally, there are other regions where Celtic influence has been significant during time, such as Galicia in Spain and parts of Portugal. But those Galicia in Spain and parts of Portugal, they are not considered Celtic nations in the same sense as those listed above. But now, in the last part of this video, how about the Celtic nation facts, of course, a less known facts and facts. First, it's Celtic languages. Each Celtic nation has its own Celtic language. Through English, it's widely spoken today, of course. Irish Gaelic in Ireland, Scottish Gaelic in Scotland, Welsh in Wales, Cornish in Cornwall, Breton in Brittany, and Manx Gaelic in the islands of Man. Next, it's related to the Saint Patrick. Saint Patrick, it's the patron saint of Ireland. It's celebrated on 17 March every year. He is credited with bringing the Christianity to Ireland, and it's known for using shamrock to explain the concept of Holy Trinity. Holy Trinity. Next fact, Wales hosts the national eastward, one of the largest cultural festivals in Europe. It celebrates the Welsh language and culture with competitions in music. Welsh language. Good. Let's switch next. Scotland, it's famous for its Highland Games, which showcase the traditional Scottish sports, such as caber tossing, hammer throwing, and the tug of war. So this don't get that. Cornwall is celebrating Saint Piran's Day on 5th of March in honor of its patron. The Day of Saint Piran often involves parades, music, and Cornish cuisine. And here it's a particular fact about Galicia in Spain. Galicia in Spain has a special tie to the Celtic world or Celtic world and shares some of the cultural elements with Celtic nations. Galicians' bagpipes, similar to those found in Scotland, Ireland, are some notable examples of bagpipes. Brittany, which is in France, hosts numerous festivals celebrating Celtic heritage. Such festivals are held most in Lorient, which brings together musician dancers and artists which are loved by Celtic culture from around the world. Well, also there is a special event on the Isle of Man, they celebrate the Tingles Day on the 5th of July. Tingles Day. Making the islands, which is one of the oldest continuous parliamentary bodies in the world. So they are making on Tingles Day, they're making the Parliament of Tingles for that day. Wales is home to Glenavon Industrial Landscape, a UNESCO World Heritage that preserves the remains of the early industrializations, including coal mines and iron ore. And this is also related to the Celtic heritage, because they were known for ironworks. And we are done. And very interesting video about Celtic nations and Celtic tribes. Well, this is, by the way, somehow a suggestion or request by some of you guys in the comments, and I'm very happy when I receive such kind of suggestions. So continues to drop in the comments more requests and suggestions. I will try to fulfill them all. Thank you very much for watching at the end, and until next time.